Hello and welcome to Genuine Bike Shop Denver. My name is Mike and I'm the owner. We're going to do a lot of things on this page. We're going to have some guests, do some interviews with some folks that are in the bicycle community, talk with our director for Bicycles for Children. But for this first episode, I just want to answer some really commonly asked questions from our customers. And that is, what type of bike should I get? Very common question asked here. Here at Genuine Bike Shop Denver, we specialize in hybrid bicycles. And hybrid, in this case, it doesn't mean electric bikes. It means a combination between a road bike and a mountain bike. Some sweet spot in the middle, all right? Now, when we think about mountain bikes, big, bulky, and they can be real expensive, $3,000, $5,000, even up to $10,000, some of these bikes. And same with road bikes. Road bikes, you think of the drop-down handlebars, the folks with the spandex, the skinny tires, and the speed. That's what road bikes are for, and they can get up there in price as well. Cycling is a sport and it has all sorts of cool aspects to it. But for getting into cycling, you don't need to do all that. And a lot of folks, they just want a bike to get around town, get to work, get to the supermarket, or go to the park. So we have a lot of folks that come in here and say, I haven't ridden a bike since I was a kid. I've never ridden a bike. We've heard that a few times. So I just want to go over different bicycle differences and what I recommend to my customers. So like I said, we specialize in hybrid bicycles. There's a lot of good brands, and I always suggest a couple brands to my customers. Trek and Specialized, they're about at the top of the food chain in the cycle community, especially here in the States. And they're great brands. They're really reliable. And when you go to their brand new bike shops, they have hybrid bicycles, kind of their entry-level bicycles. Some of the models, Trek has the FX model, great model. The Specialized has the Specialized Cirrus model. And those are great bikes. In the shop, the new models come out. They can cost from, $750 up to $850. Some of the models for hybrids, they could even cost up to $1,100 and $1,300. They have some cool perks to them. Dropper seat posts, that means a button you push and your seat will go up and down to where you need it to go. Tubeless tires, a shock in the fork, not a fork shock, a little, I'll explain that in a later episode, but a cool little shock that Specialized makes. And hybrids, they can get up to that price, but generally speaking, you're looking at, $750 to $1,000 in that range for an entry-level bike. Now here what we do is we get those bikes used, just a few years old. We refurbish them, we put new parts on them, we clean them up, we fix them up. I always suggest to my customers, and I tell them that it takes about a year or two of not constant cycling, not every day, but, cycling here and there, every weekend, getting some miles in, or maybe you do start to use it for exercise, or you use it for work every day. It takes about a year or two to start dialing down, like, okay, this is what I like about this cycle, and these are the adjustments I've made. Hybrid bikes are great for making adjustments. They have a wide enough gap in their forks for you to put big old thick tires in there or skinny tires and really try the differences in tire widths and stem widths and lengths. So you're stretched out more, pulled in more, and you can make all these adjustments on a hybrid. Then after a couple years, you can maybe start to decide if you do want to spend some more money on a bike and go down the mountain biking road, or the road cycling road, or even gravel bikes. So I always say that it takes about a year or two, and that's why it's great to get a hybrid to start out. One, they're not super heavy bikes, okay? They're not as light as a road bike that's, made of carbon fiber or that's super skinny. Those are meant to be light for speed. But if you're not too worried about speed, and these are not too heavy. And they're not as heavy as a, big old mountain bike that's meant for taking you down a hill safely with all the bumps and everything. Those shocks that they have on there are a little heavy. So hybrid is a great in-between to have a lightweight bike that you can train on, that you can take anywhere. Here's another great thing about the hybrids that we pick out here and some of the hybrids that I talk about with Trek, Specialized, Cannondale, Surly. What's great about getting an entry-level bike from one of these brands is that the quality is great. These companies, they really stand behind their name, and they're going to put good parts on even their entry-level stuff. It gets kind of confusing out there when folks are like, should I just get a bike? It's just a couple $100 just so I can get around the park, just so I can get to work. I don't need anything fancy. Well, here's the thing, is on department store bikes, those bikes, they are putting very, very entry-level parts on there. For lack of a better word, they're just kind of cheap parts that they put on there. And sure, you might not need anything fancy, but what you really don't need is to have your bike having struggles within the first 1 to 6 months. And that's what we see a lot with these department store bikes. Sure, you might get lucky and get a department store bike that doesn't really give you issues for 1 or 2 years. And then it, gives you some issues, and maybe to you that's worth the couple $100, you get another one, whatever. But the difference is, even these entry-level hybrids that we pick out and that these companies sell, they're 20-year bikes is what I like to call them. 20-year bikes. That means that they should last you 20 years with good maintenance. You might need to change some parts here and there, not as often as on a department store bike, but yeah, a couple years here and there, depending on use. You change some pads, some brake pads, some tires, some wraps, a seat here and there. And yeah, these bikes should last 20 years. So that really helps folks out when they're trying to decide, all right, I'm trying to get a cheapo bike, but at what quality level should I get? So right around there is what I suggest. Hybrids as old as 10 years old, and I would go even older, but it's 2025 right now. 2015 hybrids, that means a bike that was made in the year 2015, are still great bikes today with a good tune-up, good maintenance. Sure, they might have the older style of brakes, which is the rim brakes instead of hydraulic brakes. That's about the only difference. So if you go with a good brand bike, an entry-level hybrid from a good brand, even if it's 10 years old and they're just, charging a couple $100, $200-300, that's a better bet to get that bike as opposed to a department store bike. Then you might just need to take it to a shop like our shop and get a little tune-up. Tune-up is about $115 starting out. That takes care of pretty much everything on a bike. And we even sell bikes about 10 years old, 8-10 years old, for about that price. And I'll show some to you here in a second. But yeah, we tune them up, clean them up. They're just like new, put some new parts on them, and charge about $350, $450, and you're getting great quality. What I'm going to do now is show y'all some hybrids and some of the great features about hybrids. So I'm going to pull one out here.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? My name's Robert with Bicycles for Children. This Christmas, our mission is to reach 350 families. We're doing a bicycle drive, real fast, real easy. If you have an old bike hanging up in your garage, bring it on by. We'll get it out to a kid that needs it. Thank you so much for your participation.
Here's a great example of a hybrid right here. This is a Trek Verve 2. I really like this model. This model is kind of a cruiser style model. If you can tell here, when it's laying flat on the ground, you're kind of sitting low and your hands are up high. So you're kind of sitting straight up to push forward. And that's kind of like your cruiser style bike. If you're looking for a really comfortable bike just to get out into the park and just something really easy to hop on and just go, you don't have to think too much. This one has everything you need and it's just super comfortable ride. These bikes usually come with a nice padded seat originally. Now this one, it has some skinnier tires. Now these skinny tires, one thing about them, because some folks, they see the skinnier tires on a hybrid and they think, road bike, fast bike. And although these are skinny tires, they're really not as skinny as what you would see on your average road bike. They actually have some thickness to it. The tread, although, is a smooth tread and no biggie, it just doesn't have any tread. These tires will do great on cracks, on the sidewalk, stuff like that. No big difference, but kind of that visual aspect. Some folks, they might want, some tread on the tire or a thicker tire. But what's cool about the hybrid is it will do all of that. As you can see here, has a nice big wide gap in between both of the forks, the front one as well. So you could put a huge, thick tire on there. And that's why hybrids are great, because they give you that option. Also up here with this model, you have an adjustable headset. Now, most bikes, they can take this as an add-on, and you can put an adjustable headset on pretty much any bike. And what that means, adjustables, you can adjust this so it tilts up, tilts down, and it's just right in that comfort level. A bike like this is great for people with hip issues, and Trek, like I said, Trek makes this model called the Verve 2 that is just awesome for this style of biking. What's cool about these bikes is even though this is a cruiser style bike, cruiser style, you think 1 gear, maybe 3 gears, you don't need much to get around. Well, how they design these bikes nowadays is they just give you everything. So even though this is a cruiser style bike, just getting around town, getting around the park, you still have all the gears in the back. You still have 3 gears in the front. That means you could take this bike up any hill, down any hill, and have all the gears to support you. And no matter what terrain you're in, no matter what you're doing, you can do it with this bike at ease. And that's what's great about hybrids too, is, you're not trading basicness for, a harder time riding. Back in the day, with those big clunky cruisers, those beach cruisers, that's kind of what you were giving up. They would only give you 1 or 3 gears at the most, and you would kind of trade in that struggle of riding, it being tough to ride up hills and in certain terrain, for the basicness of it all. You're kind of giving that trade in, like, I just want a basic bike, but it's going to be hard to ride sometimes. Well, not with these bikes. They've given you all the gears you need. Not only that, it has hydraulic disc brakes. Now, most new bikes these days, they're all just getting made with hydraulic disc brakes. It really is the way of the future with cycling. And it's great. Hydraulic disc brakes are really safe brakes. They brake really hard. They're, once you feel them, the difference between, a rim style brake and these hydraulic disc brakes, it's kind of hard to go back, because it's a super good feel when you brake and you just feel that grip and it's so nice and tight and you know that you're safe, and that's what it's about. Now to service them, it's a little different. Back in the day, the rim brakes, they're a little easier to change out those pads. Now it's a little more of a process. You pretty much need to bring it into us so we can service them. But you really just need to service them I'd say every 2 years. Once every 2 years, maybe once a season, depending on how much you're riding. But, and the price is about $45 each. So once every 2 years, $45 each. You come in, we change out that fluid in there. Maybe once every 5 years, you change out the whole components. Really, it's just going to make your bike feel great when you're riding and braking. So, this is this style right here. Let's move on to another. What we do here at Genuine Bike Shop Denver is we get used hybrids that need some work and we put them back together, brand new parts if they need them, a cleaning, a tune-up, and the community helps us pay for those repairs. And that's how we're able to get hybrids like these and used bicycles to the community at a discounted price. Now, this one here is a Trek FX2. Like I was saying earlier, the FX model is probably one of the most popular for hybrid bikes from Trek. And this one is just such a beauty. Now, this is a double XL. Taller folks have trouble finding bikes. These XLs, the double XLs, the XLs, the larges, they sell out kind of quick. At the new shops when these models come out. So, it's kind of a competitive market. So anytime I can find a double XL, an XL, I keep them here. There's always going to be someone that needs it. Same with the other range too. The extra smalls and the smalls, there's always folks who needs those too. And what's awesome about hybrids is all hybrids have the same diameter wheels. These wheels are 700s. That's the diameter of the rim. They're pretty much the same as 29-inch wheels. So if you picture a mountain bike with 29-inch wheels, they're about the same diameter, but different geometry. They're skinnier. Now these are thick tires, but still skinnier than what you would see on a mountain bike. But nice and thick here with some tread. Now this will go over any terrain. But back to the frame. All hybrid frames all hybrid bikes are going to have your 700C wheels and tires. And in between the frame is just a different geometry. So for this frame, it's nice and big for a nice, big, tall person. But for a short person that might need an extra small, they still get the same wheel sizes, huge wheels. The frame on the inside is just designed to fit that height. So from here, instead of the bar going up here, it'll just come down here with the seat right here. And the way it's designed, and I'll show you one here in a sec, even the last one, the Verve was a medium, so you could kind of start seeing that geometry. Dang it, I might not have any smalls right now, but I'll show you that in a different video if I have to. But here's a great specimen here for a hybrid bicycle. All the gears also included, just like the last bike. They're not giving you any lacking gears. You have all the gears you need. 3 in the front, and probably 7 or 8 in the back. Another cool thing about these hybrids is they're customizable to the point of the drivetrains as well. You could get a 10-speed cassette on the back. That's just more gears. That just gives you more options to go on more terrain, to go up bigger hills, to do different stuff like that. They'll give you the option to go by a 1 gear in the front. Now that's cool because it eliminates an entire set of gears. The way it's set up right now and how most bikes are set up, you have, 2 or 3 gears in the front, a bunch in the back, and you have to, decide when to be in this gear and that gear, and, it's kind of a struggle sometimes to know what gear you're supposed to be in. So now we have the technology to just put 1 gear in the front, eliminate all the gears in the front, and have a cassette on the back that's big enough and wide enough to have all the gears you need. So pretty much what that means, that might sound like a bunch of bike jargon and mumbo jumbo. Pretty much what it means is instead of having 2 clickers on each side, you're just going to have 1 clicker on one side that just determines the tension on your pedaling. One button's going to make it more tension, so it's easier to bike around on flat surfaces and going down hills. And then the other button is going to make it a lot easier to pedal just in case you hit a huge hill. So hybrids have that advantage as well. Another thing I like about the hybrids is that if you buy one and in a couple years you decide that you're going to get a cool mountain bike, a cool gravel bike, cool road bike, you can still keep the hybrid in the garage for visitors, for guests, for you when you want to just, take a ride down to the supermarket and not have to worry about a super expensive bike that, has to sit there and has the chance of getting stolen or messed with. A hybrid bike is a great option for something like that. You don't have to take a $2,000, $3,000 bike or whatever it is, your baby, your special bike. You don't have to take that. You can always take your hybrid, which is also special. I mean, look at this thing. It's a beautiful bike. And what we just got this in. So what I would probably do is put some brand new tires on this, give it a nice cleanup. Looks a little dusty. I'd put some new pedals on there and just really bring it back to life. Check the cabling and make sure everything is safe and sound. Now let's look at another bike.
Guys, I gotta interrupt this video to talk about some of our sponsors, some young financial educators named Alma and Brenda. They're some good friends of mine. They actually come to the shop every Wednesday and do a financial education class free of charge for the people, and they're great. They're great community builders here. We're gonna have them here all year. How they affected me personally, they helped me with my finances here at Genuine Bike Shop Denver, and just helped me start seeing, the best ways to save money and to grow wealth and to grow capital and to expand. And they're just awesome. So if you guys need any help with, tips and tricks on how to save money, definitely come to the shop and check out their class every Wednesday at 6 p.m. All right, thanks.
This one here is the Specialized Cirrus. Now just like the Trek FX series, I'd say Cirrus model for Specialized is their most popular hybrid. I really like these bikes. They're very popular here. Now again, we are not contracted by Trek or Specialized. There are bicycle shops that are sponsored and contracted by Trek and Specialized to sell those bikes and to get those parts that they get, especially from Specialized and Trek and other such companies. We don't have any such deals like that. I just want to let you know that, just so any suggestion that I give you here today is just personal opinion here from the shop. And we do not sell these bikes new. We are not affiliated with these companies. We just help the community out with some bikes that need parts here and there, and the community helps us pay for those repairs to these types of bicycles. We're a repair shop here. But you're always welcome to send us a text, and we'll give you advice on any bike that you are looking at on Facebook Marketplace or out there in the world if you're trying to buy a cycle. Now, this is the Specialized Cirrus. I love this bike. Now, this has that shock I was telling you about earlier. There's a shock up in there. You can see it kind of flexing. Now, that's Specialized specialty right there. They designed that. That's their baby, and it's a really cool feature. Now this one, you can see, look at that huge cassette back there. It already has like a 10-speed, 11-speed on the back. Now this is a Cirrus X, but it's the 4.0. Now the Cirrus, the regular Cirrus, it's kind of like the FX that I showed you. It has the hydraulic disc brakes, nice gear set, all that. But what they've done here is the 2.0, the 3.0, and the 4.0 all have some really cool features that come with it. On this 4.0, you have a SRAM drivetrain with a big old cassette, some really nice Textro brakes, a lot more bike jargon there. But if you did want to get into, again, an entry-level bike, which is what this is, but just have all the comfortable perks, and kind of get an upgraded entry-level bike, you'd be looking at something like this. Now again, with something like this, it probably, needs a clean up, needs some new tires. A lot of these bikes just came in. I wish, they were a little cleaner so I could show them on video. But what we like to do again is just turn this bike into brand spanking new. Just clean it up, just make it awesome. And all of our technical work here comes with a 1-year warranty. So you can always be rest assured that here at Genuine Bike Shop Denver, we stand behind our warranty of a 1 whole year. And the reason we do one whole year is, again, because of the brands that we pick out and that we help the community with here. Is a Specialized, Trek, Cannondale, Surly, just these brands that we really, really like. And we give a 1-year warranty on all of our mechanical work on these bikes. So here's this, a Specialized Series. I'm gonna end it on that right there. I might make another video down the road on hybrid bikes again, you know, because that's what we specialize in here. But I'm gonna make a lot of videos. I'm gonna make videos about gravel bikes. We've been really getting into gravel biking, you know, mountain biking, road cycling. We'll get into repair videos. I want to show you guys how to change a tire, how to change a chain, how to maintain these things, how to know when you're supposed to put oil in the chain, when you're supposed to put air in the tires, you know, the adjustments that you can make, and so on and so forth. There's so much that we could learn about bicycling, and we're going to release one video a week. And this has been awesome. Welcome to our shop. This thing's probably been buzzing in the background the whole time because it's an old school TV, but we have the Nintendo set up. You could come down and play anytime. We have the old school Disney memorabilia, and we're usually playing a movie on our TV here. But our crew, we just chill here. We repair bikes. You know, we get these used bikes, and the community helps us with the repairs there, and they can get into a nice used bike. We do bike classes that we're going to start, bicycle tours. We even do financial education classes here every Wednesday that Alma and Brenda come and give out. So we're just a community shop here. Check out our reviews. Our reviews are outstanding. The community really loves what we do. I'm Mike. I'm the owner here. Hopefully y'all will get to meet the mechanics in some other episodes, but we're out. Thank you.